You know, I was really tired today and I was gonna take a quick nap. I was gonna record, but I was gonna take a quick nap. But I couldn't fall asleep. I woke myself up twice, so I'm gonna record now. I'm just gonna do it live. We'll do it live. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin, and today, we are finally doing the long-awaited song from ELP, Tarkus, off of their album, Tarkus, which was released in 1971. This has been one of the most highly requested songs on this channel. You guys have been asking for this one for a long time, so I'm happy to finally listen to it, finally give it my ear, see what I think about it. I'm excited to listen to it, and I felt that now was an especially perfect time since we had just finished listening to their first album, their self-titled. Now, seeing as how this album was released just 1 year later, 1971, I'm curious to hear from that album what stayed, what changed, what did they perhaps improve on, what did they take out, what did they add in. I have no idea, and I won't know until I listen to the album. Or at least this song. We'll see. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for waiting for me to get to this one. I hope that you guys enjoy the video, and of course, don't forget that if you do enjoy any part of the video, you can like the video, you can share it with all your friends, all your family, all of your social media circle, whether that is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, I don't know, TikTok, whatever else there is. If you'd like to, and you don't have to, you can contribute to the channel as well in the PayPal link down below. I definitely appreciate you guys that have been doing that. That's really cool that you guys have been enjoying the channel to that extent, so thank you for that. Otherwise, I'm excited to get into this. I actually have not read a thing about this. The most that I know about this song is that it's by ELP, and there's an armadillo tank on the cover. That is all I know. So we'll discover the rest as we go. Guys, you can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. I've talked enough. I've kept you waiting long enough. Let's just listen to the song. This is Emerson, Lake and Palmer with Tarkus.
between your eyes. Have the days made you so unwise? Realize you are. Had you talked to the winds of time, then you'd know how the waters rhyme. Taste of wine, how can you know where you've been in time? You'll see the sign and realize your sin. Will you know how the seed is sown? All your time has been overgrown, never known. Have you walked on the stones of years? When you speak, is it you that hears? Or the whisper? You can't hear anything at all. The preacher said a prayer, save every single hair on his head. He's dead. The minister of hate had just arrived too late to be spared. Who cared? The weaver in the web that he made. The builder wandered in, committing every sin that he could. So good. The cardinal of grief was set in the belief he'd be saved from the grave. The weaver in the web that he made. Took the blade to bless the ones who prayed and all obeyed. The messenger of fear is slowly growing nearer to the time. A sign, the weaver in the web that he made. A bishop rings a bell, a cloak of darkness fell across the ground. Without a sound, the silent choir sing, and in their silence bring gated sound. Harmonic crown, the weaver in the web that he made. Are you deaf when you hear the seasons call? Were you there to watch the earth be scorched? Did you stand beside the spectral torch? No, the leaves of sorrow turn their face, scattered on the ashes of disgrace.
wow. I like all of those false endings in the song. I thought it was going to end like at totally different points, but then they were like, nope, we're not letting you go just yet. All right, let me go restart the thing so I can talk about it, or else the battery's going to run out. Give me 1 second. So the first thing I noticed about this song, and really listening to, I guess, ELP now a little bit more recently, is how progressive they are, absolutely, but also how classical they sound. Because this sounds like modern day classical, just in a more rock tone. It still retains a certain sound from classical music. It still retains certain movements and structure from classical music, but it's just morphed and changed into something more progressive here. This whole song sounds together. It sounds like it's meant to be. It sounds like they worked on this like very hard, not saying that they didn't work on anything else, but it comes together very well. Because like you guys had known, when I had listened to a few songs off of their other album, their self-titled, which was recorded a year earlier, I didn't like every song on there. I could see the talent, I could see how they excelled at every instrument, I could see all of that. And that's beautiful, that's great. But they were still kind of getting their footing, in my opinion, and they were still coming together and understanding how to work with each other. Even though that album was a great success, I don't know if something changed, or maybe they just grew closer together. But this song sheds away kind of all the little bits of extra weight and excessiveness that I felt were on some songs on ELP's self-titled. And this song feels a lot more structured. It feels a lot more together. It feels a lot more purposeful in the way that everything moves. And even though the nature of the beast of progressive music is to be sometimes a little self-indulgent, sometimes a little experimental, I feel that here it doesn't come across excessive. And by the way, I know listening to this song, there were some instruments that just sound so, I don't know, they sound so different than how I'm used to that I'm gonna mislabel instruments. I'm gonna I'm gonna call something the wrong instrument or something. It's a first listen, forgive me. This is a 3-piece band, and they sound epic. They sound monumental in the sound that they create, from chaos to beauty to soul to progressive sightings and leanings. I mean, I'm always going to be impressed by the music that they create. And every time that I said in my head, man, Emerson's really going off here on the organ, at the same time, I'd be thinking in the back of my head, yeah, but do you hear Lake? Or man, do you hear Palmer drumming? I mean, I've never heard drumming like that at that time. And it has this very progressive opening that if you saw my hands during that part, I was trying to count out the time signature, and I think it was coming out to 5/8 or 5/4 or something. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, I'm still working on that. But I just thought it was cool. It's a very progressive opening that at first I was like, I hope the whole song isn't like this, because it kind of sounded cool, but I didn't want it to go on too long. And it didn't. It was just a nice introduction to get you hyped, get you ready for what was going to come next. And this section of the song, the beginning, was called Eruption, because there's several different subtitles and movements in this song. And it does absolutely feel like an eruption. This is what gets the band started. It starts, like, from the very beginning, it starts, like, with a slow little rise, and then it explodes into this progressive piece. Listen to this. I like I like that little synth that comes in at the end. I like that, because once again, it's causing the eruption of music. Okay, and this is all fine and dandy, but listen to this transition, because this is one of the smoothest transitions I've heard on progressive music. Slow, mellow organ, that warm bass, Lake. Now, one thing I was hoping for from this track, there's one thing that I was hoping for, and that's that I would be able to hear a little bit of Greg Lake singing. Because I don't know about you, and I don't know about the general consensus, and, you know, that doesn't really matter too much over here, but he has just one of the most interesting voices, I think, for progressive rock, and really one of the most interesting voices in general. Because he is so smooth, he is so relaxing, he's very chill to listen to, and at the same time, he's very emotional. Actually, if I can skip ahead a little bit, if you don't mind, talking about, what was it, part 6, I think it was, or somewhere? Yeah, part 6, which is entitled Battlefield, and we'll get there. But before I forget, listen to that part and tell me if you don't get a little glimpse or a little hints of Van de Graaff Generator, and especially Peter Hamill with his very emotional delivery. Listen to that section, which we'll probably get to here in this video, but I'm just calling it out right now before I forget. Because I was thinking, man, that kind of reminds me of Van de Graaff Generator. I like that delivery, that slightly quicker tempo, that organ peeking in the back a little bit. This was exactly what I wanted. I don't know why I growled at the end of that. This was exactly what I wanted out of that eruption. This is that slow, but still very hot flow of lava that comes down. And throughout that section specifically, we have some very snappy drumming from Palmer, some very experimental drumming that came up later that I'm really looking forward to hearing again and talking about. I feel that throughout this whole song, even though it's barely there, I feel like Emerson is really like in control of this song. While Lake and Palmer are giants in their own right, I heard a lot of Emerson on this song, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. That beautiful cascading bass. Listen to the drumming. The drumming is speaking with the organ. They're just having a conversation back and forth. That awesome beat. Palmer on the drums creates such awesome transitions and fills leading into different sections, because I feel like there's a creativity in his drumming that I don't really hear a ton. Obviously, you know, everyone has creativity, blah, 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 blah. That's great. But just some of the way that he fills in the spaces between sections feels a little different, and it hits a little different. Okay, one of my favorite things, and actually my favorite thing in this song, is the bass, this part. Just that little bum, 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 bum. I love that. That actually, from the phone, connects right here, just like that. That is how much I love that. It's the small things that can sometimes make the most impact on you. And sometimes that's what sticks. It could be a singular line of notes in a song, and that melody will stay with you forever. I can tell you, that little bass run, bum, 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 I don't know what it is, but it hits. And don't you love his voice? Do you guys like Greg Lake's voice? I'm curious now, because I'm in love with his voice. He could sing forever, and like I said, I was really hoping that this wouldn't be an instrumental piece, because I like to hear his voice. I love his bass playing, and we even get some guitar playing that came in, some great solos later on, but I really enjoy his voice. Do you guys like his voice, or are you guys not so sold on his voice? I don't know. I don't really see how you can't like his voice, but, you know, everyone has different taste, and that's okay. This part, this is so interesting what Palmer's doing. Now, like I said, I don't know what story this is. I don't know what the lyrics are talking about. Literally, the only thing I have to go on is the album cover, which is this tank thing, okay? Now, I don't know, I guess I can look at it really quick just to see, but I don't know if this is like a literal story of a tank or a war or a battle, but doesn't that part with the drumming remind you of the treads of the tire rolling over? And the instruments behind it are just as menacing, just as fear-inducing. So I don't know if this is representative of like the battle about to commence. You know, all sides are leading up to each other, and it's like they're marching. I don't know if that's exactly what they're going for, but that's what I see. And I've seen a few of the setups for live performances from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, as well as, of course, many other bands. And it's cool how they're surrounded and they have so many different types of keys and synths and organs and a whole bunch of different like sounds surrounding them typically. And I think that they put it to great use, because you can hear the companionship that, for example, Emerson has in this song regarding the organ and the piano, for example. He shifts off of them perfectly, keeping them balanced, sometimes using the organ to lead with just a few keys in the back, and sometimes using piano to throw in a little bit of a run, and then having the organ as ambience in the back. But I just think that that balance and that use of both of those sounds works together really well, and I think that's part of what makes their sound so big. Using so many instruments, you know, you got two hands, I got two instruments. I might even have three instruments. For example, with Lake, bass, vocals, and guitar. I mean, they just are so multi-talented, and I think that this band is so multifaceted in all that they're doing. They're like a diamond, you know? As I was listening to this song, it really specifically hit me, especially growing up with video games, and, you know, I still play video games all the time. And I was thinking a lot about, like, video game soundtracks, especially retro ones, And I've always read interviews from some of the music directors and musicians and composers that had made the music, but I didn't realize just how much of an influence bands like ELP and other progressive bands had on video game music. Because some of this sounds a little bit like video game music, especially older and more retro style video game music. So I would not be surprised if some of those composers may have been directly influenced from songs such as Tarkus. Listen to Greg on this section. Oh, Palmer. Listen, this song at this moment, this is what is this, part 4? This is part 4, which is entitled Mass. And it's talking about different religious figures, and they're looking like they're trying to find some sort of hope, find some sort of safety, perhaps from some sort of danger. Like I said, I think it's like an approaching army, perhaps coming towards like the town or something. And in this section, the singing becomes just a little more, just not snarly, but a little more aggressive, a little more heightened. Yeah, play with the space, play with the space. When Palmer gives you an opening, and he doesn't give a lot of them, but when he gives you an opening, you play in it. You dance in it, you revel in it, you do whatever you're gonna do in it. But those little breaks from Palmer, and from the band really, at each of the verses, at the end of each of those verses, is a really cool way of just breaking up the verse a little bit, giving a little space for some cool thing to happen, whether that's going to be a fill from Palmer or a little bass run. You're gonna get something fun in there. He tosses you a little sauce, and you're having a great time. Like right here, I honestly wasn't sure, and maybe I'm still not sure exactly what it is, but it sounds like Emerson's very quickly just stabbing the organ keys so that you get just a brief click of the sound, that brief wah, 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 wah. And at the same time, Palmer is playing along with that exact same rhythm with the drums, and being really creative with it, actually. It's almost like they're having an organ/drum battle at that point. And then we get guitar starting to sneak in there a little bit. So that's what Greg's been doing. You didn't hear him during that section, during that battle. He was switching between the bass and the guitar. So it sounds like he brought in the guitar at this point. And we start to hear little bits of guitar going forward from here. Okay, listen to this new motif. Listen for the guitar that comes in. Set it up. Set it up. And this is the section entitled Battlefield. Listen to the organ, listen to the singing, listen to this whole atmosphere and the ambience that's being brought in. Doesn't this sound a little bit like Van de Graaff? And I know some of you don't like comparisons. I'm sorry, but listen, it's how my mind works sometimes. It's not saying anything bad about ELP. It's not saying who came first or what came first. To be honest, it literally does not matter to me who came first. It just sounds cool that, I hear a little bit of similarity. It's like a slow, dramatic cascade of music. I like this a lot. It's a slow drip. This is a coffee slow drip. And I also think that in this section specifically with Battlefield, I think that this is my personal favorite time in the song, just because of how slowed down everything is, just because of how much space is given. And I think that Greg sounds the best here vocally. I think this is where he really lets his emotion and the passion of the music shine. The organ plays just a little more relegated to the support role, but it's still very present in the music. The bass is super warm. The drumming is fantastic. Once again, I'm most impressed by the fills and the creativity just in that respect by Palmer. You hear the guitar again, just slowly creeping in. Not ready to go solo yet, but it's creeping. Listen to the singing though. Listen to the guitar and the piano. That's some powerful singing. I really enjoy that. And this song, from that point forward, becomes like solid, perfect material to me. I enjoyed the whole thing. Let that not be mistaken. I enjoyed the whole song, even as I let it play right now. The whole thing is fantastic, but, well, maybe it's not from Battlefield on. I just really like that part of the song so much. It's really from, part 2 that it really captured me. Even though, of course, it's going to take multiple listens and I'll have to go back again and listen to it and get my own opinion after I've become more acclimated to it. And it's within Battlefield that we have this this soulful, bluesy, charming guitar solo. Still backed up by organ and keys. Still backed up by this powerful drumming. Come on, that is soulful. That hits straight to the heart. That's a fantastic solo. That was actually and literally a cherry on top of an already great cake of a song. And I actually think this part kind of sounds cool with this. I don't know what that is, but I think that sounds really cool with the marching drums being played in the back as it kind of comes in and out a few more times. I did think that this was the ending of the song, but apparently there's just a little sliver of a slice left after this. They have one last progressive climax to the song, actually playing, I believe, the motif that it was playing in the very beginning of the song. So at the end of the day, I like this song a lot more than I thought I would in the first minute or two. Because even though I enjoyed that part, I was like, okay, this is good, but can we move on to something else? And something else it did. For as much as ELP can sometimes be stereotyped as one of the more self-indulgent progressive bands, maybe one of the ones that embellish a little bit more, and they definitely do, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because listen, if you have it, you got to use it. You know, if you have the goods, flaunt your goods. Do what you're doing. I'm talking musically, by the way. But sometimes for the music to hit me and for me to be impacted by it, I like just, you slow it down a little bit, steady me up a little bit. And this song does a great job of bringing you through all of those motions, taking you through step by step by step by step by every other step of what they can do, whether that is technical prowess or whether that is the emotional side of the music. They got it all, they got the ability to bring it all, and when it comes to Tarkus, they did a great job doing that. Okay, so now I'm reading a little bit of information about the song. Is my thing about to run out? Let me change it real quick. It says that the name Tarkus refers to the armadillo tank on the album cover. The artist explained that the name is an amalgamation between Tartarus and Carcass. Okay, well I know Tartarus is like the underworld, and then Carcass is a dead body. So, okay. Consequently, the name refers to the futility of war. The song Tarkus itself supposedly follows the adventures of Tarkus from his birth through a fight with a manticore. Isn't that a boss in Castlevania? Which he loses and concludes with an aquatic version of Tarkus named Aquatarkus. Okay, so it's basically Godzilla. As I said, the beginning is eruption, and so I would imagine this is the beast rising. This is our armadillo tank, our friend, armadillo tank Tarkus, rising up out of the volcano. And then Stones of Years is the next movement in the song, in which it says, "Has the dawn ever seen your eyes? Have the days made you so unwise? Realize you are." I'm assuming talking about Tarkus and how he's never seen the day, how he's never seen anything because he's been stuck in a volcano for who knows how many years. "How can you know where you've been? In time you'll see the sign, you'll realize your sin. Will you know how the seed is sown? All your time has been grown, never known. Have you walked on the stones of years? When you speak, is it you that hears?" So I assume walking on the stones of years, walking on the earth, which has been around for many, many years, and he has never walked on the earth. So now he's getting to stretch his treads. The third section is Iconoclast, which is just an instrumental. And then the fourth section, Mass. And this is where I was mentioning, like, we get a bunch of, like, religious figures and they're talking about different things. It seems to be talking about just different things that they're doing at the time. The preacher said a prayer, save every single hair on his head. He's dead, so I guess that didn't work. The minister of hate had just arrived too late to be spared. Who cared? The weaver in the web that he made. And every verse ends with that line, the weaver in the web that he made, showing that they were the spiders. They weave their own web, which is not a good thing. That's a trap for others to get caught in. They made those webs, but in the end, they themselves were the one who got caught up in their own schemes. So it backfired on them. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of Ian Anderson and Jethro Tull, and it's talking about these figures who should be a positive part of the community and how they're using their position for not so good things. The next section is Manticore, and that was, I guess, now looking at the story where Tarkus is fighting the Manticore. So like I said, it's Godzilla. They're having a little battle. I want a follow-up album from Manticore's side of the story. I want to know, is Manticore the bad guy? Is he the good guy? Should we really be rooting for him? Should we really be on the side of Tarkus? I don't know, but Tarkus does have a really cool song named after him. The section after that is Battlefield. So this is after the battle, it seems, because they say, clear the battlefield and let me see all the profit from our victory. You talk of freedom, starving children fall. Are you deaf when you hear the season's call? So as we read before, this is where Tarkus loses the battle against Manticore, and it looks like is relegated to the sea, or is tossed into the sea and becomes Aqua Tarkus? I'm not sure, but you can kind of get that atmosphere because, like I said, Battlefield is a very somber moment in the music, and then after that, it kind of drops off. It becomes very quiet, to me thinking of Tarkus being in the ocean now, defeated, but it does end with a little bit of a bang. It does end with marching drums, symbolizing perhaps he's coming back. Tarkus was thrown to the ocean, and he's slowly working his way back up, like Godzilla. I'm just saying. Very interesting story in the song, I'll definitely say that. But you know what? I'm not here for the kaiju battles, I'm here for the music, and the music was fantastic. I gotta say, Tarkus definitely impressed me. Possibly one of the best songs, and possibly the best song so far that I've heard from ELP. In just their second album, they really did bring it all. They really did open up with a bang. I think that if you're following ELP at this time and following the band from their very beginnings, you would be very surprised what you heard. Opening Tarkus, opening the vinyl, put it on your record player, and putting it on. I think that you would be massively impressed, and I can't see how you would not have a shocked face on your expression. I can't see it, because this would definitely impress. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much if you've watched all of it. Thank you so much for waiting patiently. I know you've been waiting, but like Tarkus, listen, sometimes we're going to be thrown to the sea, I'll slowly come back. Sometimes you're going to throw a request out there, and it's not going to seem like I hear it, but I hear you. I hear you. So thank you so much for waiting for it. If you've watched all this video, I can't thank you enough. I appreciate it. Of course, you can like the video, you can share the video. I implore you to share the video if you did enjoy it and you think anyone else will enjoy it. Please definitely let me know your thoughts on the song. Let me know what I got wrong, because I know that there's at least 5 things that I did. Thank you so much for your donations to the channel as well. It definitely helps me out, helps me keep going with the channel, and possibly getting more videos and bigger videos out to you guys more efficiently and a little bit quicker. Join me on Twitter, join me in the comments down below. I really hope that you're having a fantastic day. Have a great weekend. Do something fun. Do something for yourself. Just have a happy and great and safe weekend. And yeah, I'll talk to you later. Have a great night or day, whatever time it is.